Alright, I finally did mine, and it's a Cartoon Network tier list. Now, I'm trying to stick strictly to shows that were just like aired on Cartoon Network for the most part. Like, I know there are a few exceptions in there, like Infinity Train. I know like a lot of that was on HBO Max. Or like Adventure Time, The Distant Lands, and the Fiona and Cake were also on HBO, but I'm trying to keep it like strictly Cartoon Network. Like, I guess I will count Fiona and Cake because it's part of the Adventure Time universe, like into the total score. But I'm trying to keep it as separate like as I can, because for most of these shows, it literally was on Cartoon Network. There's just like a piece of it that was on something else, or you know, like a couple episodes, or maybe like a season that finally aired on something, kind of like Total Drama. But I kind of split that up because I was like, you know what? There's so many total dramas. I'm just gonna split it up to the main ones that were on like Cartoon Network. I'm gonna go ahead and get it started. I'm gonna kind of go through like a slight explanation from it, just so it makes sense, just so you see it from where I'm seeing. Because I know we're not gonna agree on everything, but this is just so you can kind of get where I'm coming from. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start at the top. Because I'm not even gonna like make the list. I'm just gonna have it made and then just go from there. Like the Powerpuff Girls, I just think it's S tier. It was one of those like classic monster of the week shows. Like, and it had some really good villains like him. I think he was like one of the few people that like actually frightened you when you were younger.
Are you finished?
No, but you are. Don't you know you can never beat us?
Beat you? Girls, don't you see? I've already won.
Like Mojo Jojo was kind of just like, he was like beat up material, but him was just, he was on a whole nother level. The Amazing World of Gumball, that is, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best comedy shows on Cartoon Network, and I feel like it gets better as it goes on. Most shows, I feel like, after a while they decrease in quality. I actually prefer the later seasons of The Amazing World of Gumball. Like, you get episodes like, the sweater.
Little piggy.
Yeah, you're a fully grown man screaming at us, and if you continue, I'm gonna call the police.
You know what the worst thing is? This guy's a teacher.
No, dude, the worst thing is that this guy's got 2 sweaters and he's not wearing either of them.
Like when those dudes that are kind of like real life coming on, and they like come to the school and kind of harass him, and that guy who like looks like Omni-Man, like that's an amazing episode. Like the pizza where they're like, the dude Larry who works all the jobs, he gets like fed up and everything, and you're just like he quits and the town just goes to garbage. So there are like a ton of good things from The Amazing World of Gumball. And the Inquisition. Like it gets better as it goes. So I'm on to Teen Titans. What do I have to say about this? Like, if you grew up in like early mid 2000s, this was the show. And Slade,
Robin, welcome. I've been expecting you for some time.
Slade might be the best CN villain ever. Now, I know some people are going to say the Lich, and I love Adventure Time, but Slade, the Lich has nothing on Slade. Like, he tortured them to another level. Like, he literally had Robin hallucinating. Like, it's been a while since I've seen that saga, but Robin was literally like hallucinating. Like, he thought he saw him when he wasn't there, and he was like dead. We'll move on to the next show, Adventure Time. I think this is one of the best kind of like adventure fantasy series on Cartoon Network. Now, personally, and this is going to be unpopular, I prefer Steven Universe, but I think the quality of Adventure Time is better. Like the overall quality of Adventure Time is better than Steven Universe, even though there are individual episodes of Steven Universe that I prefer, because I feel like they hit a message better than Adventure Time. But Adventure Time has some good ones, man. Like, in characters like Marceline, like you get her and like Simon's backstory. I think it's called like I Remember You. That's the episode where it's just Simon is he goes to his past where he was a scientist taking care of Marceline when she was younger. That was one of the best ones. The Hall of Egress.
No more threads to follow. No more egress.
Where Finn's like blind and he's like wandering back to that place. I can't even think about what it's called, but it's so good. I'm trying to think of some other ones that were just like bangers for Adventure Time, but it's kind of hard. Slumber Party, that was the first one. I'll agree with Nemesis, the one where Peacemaster is fighting Peppermint Butler. Like,
Look here, friends.
Adventure Time had some good episodes. Alright, and Foster Home for Imaginary Thing. I also think that's S tier. And I know some people will probably say it's more like A tier, but I just think some of the adventures that they went on were just some of like the best. Like when you were a kid, it was just like even on a rewatch, because I rewatched it recently, probably like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Even on a rewatch, it's actually really good and really funny. Even though I know Blue causes most of the problems in that show.
Oh no, he's early! Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous! How do I look? Okay, good.
They say a lot of jokes that will literally go over people's head that if you're not paying attention, like when if you were younger you didn't catch, you'll catch it now.
I don't need a man.
I'm not a man. I'm an imaginary man.
I'm not a man. I'm a teenager.
I'm not a man. I'm just a kid.
Hey, I can beat that. I'm not even human.
And next one is Courage the Cowardly Dog. I mean, this was nightmare for you when you were younger. It was the one show that you, and that Return to Slack, dude. Oh my god. Return to Slack. Like that would literally keep you up at night. This was the one show where it was just like it wasn't really intending to do that, but it did, and it was so good at it. So I think it has to stay on S tier. All right, I'm gonna move on to A, and A is pretty much they're so close to S. A lot of these, but they're just like maybe like it's more of a nitpick than not. But I just don't think everything can go on S. So I feel like all right, you got to be more, critical of these shows. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. Samurai Jack, amazing. Like it's kind of like another one of those, not necessarily monster of the week, because they were like the main bad guy Aku, that's who he was really trying to get. But weekly it was like, all right, certain dudes like on his path to get to Aku, and they were just some amazing fight scenes. One of my few issues with it, and again, a lot of the stuff on A tier, you're nitpicking, but some of the storylines in it I feel like didn't make a lot of sense. And the ending, but Gennady, he doesn't really end a lot of his shows good anyway. But the ending, I was just kind of left confused. So I think it goes on A tier. Then we got Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a great show between episode 2 and 3 of the movies, if I'm not mistaken. That gives you a lot of wrap up. Some of the filler episodes in Clone Wars are just awful.
Oh no, what did you do?
I dumped the spice.
You did what?
The Martez sisters, I couldn't stand it. Any C-3PO episodes, couldn't stand it. Any R2 episodes, couldn't stand it. Jar Jar Senate episodes, couldn't really stand them. And honestly, some of the Senate episodes, I get why you need them. It kind of provides some backstory and, some more dialogue of what's happening in this universe or in this star system at this time. But I could have left it where it was. Like if I ever watch that show again, I'm gonna need like a guide. Like, don't watch this, don't watch that. I'm gonna need something. Ben 10. I mean, it's Ben 10. Who didn't like Ben 10 growing up? Who didn't have a Ben 10 watch growing up? Ben 10 is a really good show. I put the original here because I know there's different ones. Like there's Ultimate Alien. I also have Ultimate Alien on this list, but I think the OG Ben 10 is just. It's where it's at. You get to see his beginnings. You get to see the aliens, and I forget. There's like that short dude with the eyes. I can't even think of his name right now. Where he finally meets that guy, and then they go like to space. But it's been so long. But Ben 10 is an A tier. Then you got Ed, Edd and Eddy, and I think it's simple. It's slapstick humor done correctly, and that's a hard thing to do correctly consistently.
Hit it, man! Hit it! Do you want those lovers to win? Come on, ladies, hit it!
And the Big Picture Show, in my opinion, is the best Cartoon Network movie. Like a movie ending for a show. I think you can go through all like Cartoon Network shows and like the ones that had movies to end them. they had the best movie to end it. Like Teen Titans, they had the like Japan movie. Like I don't think that was a good enough movie to end it. Now I get a lot of shows with Cartoon Networks, they didn't necessarily have the best endings. Regular show had another ending with Pops and Anti-Pops, but nothing comes close to the Big Picture show. It literally tied up every loose end that you had.
I made it all up, Double D. Everything about my brother was a lie. I just made things up so people would like me, think I was cool. When am I gonna learn, Double D?
Let's go into Steven Universe. Personally, Steven Universe is like one of my favorite shows of like all time. It is so good in so many ways. And
Pearl! I know you miss space and I know you worked hard, but sometimes you just gotta know when to bail.
and it's hard to compare to it. They have some of the most like heart-wrenching episodes. Like I can't even name them. Like the test, where they're giving Steven the test so they can boost his confidence, but the reality is they don't know what to do, so they're just kind of doing this, you know, for them. And then he realizes it, and at the end of the episode he hugs them and he's like, y'all, this is what I needed. But the truth is, like, that's what they needed. Like it's so good. And it was another episode in season 1 where Pearl was trying to show Steven Homeworld. Like she was so obsessed with getting to Homeworld that she built a ship. And it was like breaking. It was literally about to blow up, but she didn't want to get off. Steven had to like convince her to get off of it before like they all died. You could see on her face how much it meant to her.
Your life is short and you have dreams. I won't let you give up on everything you want.
Well, that's gonna be a problem.
Huh?
You're everything I want!
And the saga, I think we all saw the rose quartz thing coming, where she was actually Pink Diamond. Well, near the end. At the beginning, I didn't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I didn't start to piece it together, I think, until like season 2 or 3, where I was just like, I think Pink Diamond was rose quartz. Eventually, I kind of got it, but she really messed them up. She put so much trauma and damage on them that I'm shocked they ever made it out of it.
But not from me! I was the one she told everything! Yo, you're not the only one who misses her! You can't understand how I feel! None of you had what we had!
Oh yeah, and I can't end it without mentioning Stronger Than You. You can't tell me that that wasn't the best song in Steven Universe. Like, that was when I knew I was gonna watch this show. Oh, because I didn't originally watch it when it aired. Like, well, not all of it. Like, it wasn't done when I started watching it. I didn't start watching it till they were on like season 4. And people were talking about like hiatuses and all this other stuff. And how, oh, if I catch up, I'm gonna have to wait. The moment I saw Jailbreak and then realized that Garnet was a fusion, again, never knew. That was something that I didn't catch. The moment I saw the Stronger Than You, I was like, I don't care how long I have to wait. I am watching all of this. You know, I knew at that moment everything was getting watched by me. All right, the Looney Tunes show, I think is the best reboot of any show. I think the whole sitcom aspect of it, it makes you feel like you're watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, except with the Looney Tunes. It doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't. And Daffy, they make him likable in this show. Like, he causes so much problems, but he's literally so likable. It's hard to hate him. And like, I feel like him and Bugs work off each other great. And the side characters, like Lola, this is the best Lola. She's not better anywhere else than here. Like, and she's kind of dumb in this one, and crazy, but it's the best version of her. Like, even their neighbors who are like side characters, they just make the show work. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Then we have Mystery Incorporated. It was a really good show. I preferred this Scooby-Doo show over the other ones. Like, it felt like kind of an adult version of Scooby-Doo, even though it wasn't like, you know, they weren't like cursing and stuff. But it felt like a mature, well, that's what I should say, a mature version of Scooby-Doo. And it had great storylines, and I loved it. Total Drama Island. I mean, Chris is something else, man. Like, this was kind of like a parody on a lot of reality TV shows. And if you watched it while it was airing, it was the best thing. Because it was like, I think it was Tuesday where they would air the episode. Literally every Wednesday you'd come, like I'd go into school the next day and we would all talk about who got eliminated, who's gonna get eliminated next week. Like there was nothing better than that. I also have another, like I have action and I have island on this, but we'll get to that later because I didn't think they were A tier. Like, I mean, not island. I just did island. I have action and world tour on this, but we'll get to that later when we get to it. Then we have Infinity Train. Season 1 of Infinity Train was on Cartoon Network. 2, 3, and 4 were on HBO, but I'm putting it together in one because I just feel like you kind of have to explain Infinity Train. Now, for Infinity Train, I personally, because each season follows different characters, I personally preferred 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 2 is with Jesse and I can't even think of the other guy. It's Jesse and MT. Yeah, Jesse and MT. And I loved their interactions. I love their dynamics, and I love, if you haven't seen Infinity Train, like the whole plot of it is like people randomly get sent to this train because they're dealing with issues in real life and they have to work through all these issues to get off. But there's so many different obstacles on the train. Each car on the train is like its own world, and you pretty much just have to get through all that. But 3, I think where this show shines is season 3. It is so good, and the fact that someone actually, I don't want to spoil it, but someone bites the dust in season 3. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not even gonna show an image of it, but it is one of the things that you never see coming, and it is so good.
Hazel, it's not too late to change your mind.
Good luck, Grace.
The weak season, in my opinion, is season 4. I didn't really like it. I always thought we'd get a season 5, but HBO, they got rid of a bunch of their shows, so we're never getting a season 5 for it. But the weak season is 5. I mean, the weak season is 4, and I hate that it ended like that because I felt like we needed one more to like wrap up everything. Because it's one of those shows where there's still a lot of things that aren't answered in it, but we're never gonna get those answers unless they make like comics. And I don't really look at comics, so if there is a comic, let me know. Alright, we got The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. This show is so funny, and it still is.
Guard! Just the sound of it makes me so angry! Guard! Angry! Guard!
This is one of those comedy shows where they tell so many jokes, and if you're really not paying attention, you will miss some of them. And now Billy, some of his stupidity just kind of it bothers you because he's so dumb. But the way him and Mandy work off each other, I think is really good. And for most episodes, they make it work.
All right, Reaper. Your bail is here.
I came as soon as I got the call, yo.
I knew I could count on you, Erwin.
Here you are, officer.
Gee, thanks.
How much was in that piggy bank?
There might be a few here and there where you're just like, all right, man, you gotta do something, but it's really good. And Grim, I think he makes the whole group dynamic work. Like, he'll show them like stuff for the underworld. Like, you'll see stuff like Dracula. Like, oh yeah, the scrape and lick thing. Like, he doesn't bite, he scrapes and licks. Like, if you watch this show, even now on a modern day rewatch, not like you're looking back on it with nostalgia glass. You watch this show now, it's still really good, and there are a lot of things that you'll realize you missed. And the next one, the final one on A, is a regular show. I felt like this show was everything I wanted in like kind of an adult cartoon. Like, it would, like, when I first saw the regular show thing and I never watched it, I thought, oh, it was just gonna be something simple. But it's literally anything but that. There was like an episode where they had to like set up the chairs, and I forget how it ended, but like the whole park was destroyed.
You! Whoa, hey Benson, before you freak out, we totally set up those chairs.
Woo! This birthday party is hot!
and Benson was just constantly yelling at him. It is so good. Regular Show, in my opinion, it's like the pinnacle of, kind of teenage humor. Like, it doesn't really get better than that. My only issue was like the last season when they were like in space. Like the park was floated to space, and I hated that. Like, it just wasn't as funny, and it wasn't like the whole point of Regular Show is the day starts out regular and then it gets completely chaotic. Like, there was an episode where like Rigby and Mordecai, they were getting into an argument about like who would be player one in a game, and Rigby was tired of losing that punching, so like he literally went to like a dojo master and got like a death punch move just so he could kill Mordecai. Like, it was the best thing.
Where are you, Mordecai? I want to play you punchy.
Hey, mister, have you seen Mordecai?
No. Who is it?
Have you seen him?
Seen.
And there was like one part where he was going through the park and he was asking people, he was like, well, have you seen Mordecai today? And people were just like, man, who is that? And he was just like hitting them all anyway. Like, it was the best thing ever. That is the end for A tier. All right, now we got our B tier shows. Now, I think Codename Kids Next Door is a B tier show. It was really good. I love the 2x4 technology that they were going for. Like, they would always do like the breakdowns of everything that they were using. And I love some of the side stories that they had, like Number 5 and her brother, or maybe it was her friend Maurice. That was good. The big villain father turned out to be like Nigel's uncle. Like, some of the side stories in this were really good. My issue with this show is partially how it ended and how we never really got, we never got the next part of this. I feel like there was so much left on the table. And some of the villains that we dealt with throughout the week were just, I felt like they were okay, not good, but I get why they were what they were. Now, some issues with this. I know some people are going to see Craig of the Creek and Codename Kids Next Door on this and be like, are those both B tiers? I genuinely think that Codename Kids Next Door and Craig of the Creek, they're the same show. Like, when I watched Craig of the Creek, I was literally like, this is literally Codename Kids Next Door. Except, I think Craig of the Creek has worse characters, but a better storyline. I think K&D has better characters, but a worse storyline. I genuinely see them as the same show. Because some people might say K&D is an A tier, but I think wherever K&D goes, Craig of the Creek also goes. So I both had to put them at B tier. Because if you haven't seen Craig of the Creek, it's literally a modern day Codename Kids Next Door. It's the same thing. All right, next you got Over the Garden Wall. It was really good. I felt like, even though it was only 10 episodes, I feel like a lot more could have been explored in that world. It told a good story, especially near the end where it turned out that they were on Halloween. It was their Halloween costume. But some of those episodes just kind of seemed, I'm not gonna say pointless, but I feel like they could have been done a little better. But I did love the Beast. The Beast was scary. Next we have Sonic Boom. Again, that's the best Sonic show in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen Netflix's Sonic Prime, so I don't want to speak on that. But I feel like Boom did what I wanted X to do. Like, I don't know if you watched the old Sonic X. Sonic Boom did what I wanted that show to do, and it made me laugh. Next we got 16. It's about those kids at the mall, and it was really one of those shut off your brain and watch. And it was good at doing that. Like, you could come home, just eat, sit down, and then just watch that show for like a whole hour, and it would just be like time flew by. Because when you shut off your brain and just watch it, it's really good.
So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years?
Not working in a mall.
I know where I'd like to see myself tonight.
The next one is Clarence. Now, a lot of people aren't gonna like that Clarence is in B tier, but I think it's one of the better modern day shows. And people hate on it because of the animation, but it's like, if you sit down and actually watch it, it tells a good story. It's just, it tells a story of, people in a lower generation bracket than you. And I think that's the issue with it. A lot of people who are older will see the animation and be like, oh yeah, this is stupid. But they tell some amazing stories in Clarence. Like the one where Jeff was kind of like, he was kind of like the dude from American Psycho. Like, he went through his day, but he was basically like the American Psycho guy. That was a good one. The one where they meet the dude Larry, who like he lives alone, but he like saves everything, and they like go get ice cream with him. But he's like a hoarder. Like, he never gets rid of anything. And the thing about Larry is he writes everything down. And then Jeff, he thinks it's stupid because he's like, why you write everything down? But at the end of the episode, like, where stuff's at, how to like navigate through the woods, and he's just like, how do you know all this? He's like, I wrote it down.
How did you know what flavors we wanted?
Wrote it down.
So you just write everything down in case it's useful later? How do you know what to write down and what to leave out?
It's all important.
I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go to total drama action. I think action was really good. I really enjoyed action, and it really showed some of the characters that you didn't get to see shine in Island in action. It wasn't quite as good as Island because I think we knew what to expect with action. I think Island was so good because it was like you didn't know what to expect, but action is still B tier. It was quality. Generator Rex, it was another good one that came on right after Ben 10 on Fridays. I don't know how it ended. I'm not sure if they did end it, but it was a good show. It was pretty much, it was kind of like a Ben 10 show, truthfully. But I like the characters. I know like the voice in the show revealed it revealed to be that was his mom the whole time. It was her voice that was pre-recorded, and that was like a big reveal of the show. Sorry if I'm spoiling that, but it was a quality show, but you know, certain issues there. Alright, Semi-Yonic Titan. This was action show at its peak. It was only one season, but in my opinion, they never got to the same level of quality action show as Semi-Yonic Titan card. Like, Semi-Yonic Titan was action show at its peak. If you haven't seen it, I genuinely recommend you watch it. It is one of my personal favorites. But I gotta throw it at B tier because I hate how there wasn't really a resolution to it, and I know Cartoon Network canceled it, and I feel like we really needed to see more of it. Like, we didn't get to see everything that we needed to see, and we didn't get to see their home planet like I wanted to see it. So I'm gonna leave it there at B tier.
Use some of that slang the young hooligans are so fond of.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Yes, we got Summer Camp Island. That one recently ended. It's a feel-good show, man.
Hey, kid, where's your baby? Oof. Oh, I put him down somewhere. I'm 5. I guess my mom was right. I'm too young to have kids. I just want to enjoy my 5s, you know? Maybe when I'm 6.
And it's hard to find like real good modern-day feel-good shows, but I love Summer Camp Island. Susie was probably the best character in the show.
My eyebrows look perfect. Let's start by brushing my hair 100 times.
Yeah, may we?
This is fun, huh?
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Oscar and Hedgehog, their friendship dynamic, I think, really carried it for most of the episodes. One of my issues with it is the voice change. They actually changed voices for Oscar 3 times, and I feel like the first actor, he had the best dynamics and chemistry with Hedgehog. My issue doesn't come into play till the second actor. The second one wasn't as good. It didn't feel like they had that same chemistry. The third one brought it back more, but it never reached the peak as the first one, and that was probably my only issue. Flapjack and Chowder, those were really good shows. Chowder, we all know he ate everything. Flapjack, him and Knuckles, they were just on Storm Along, doing their own adventures, trying to get to Candy Island the whole time. It was these were really good shows, but I felt like there were certain things that were just holding them back. With Flapjack, sometimes it wasn't as funny as I feel like they wanted you to feel. Like some of the gross stuff, it was just like, are you looking at it, but it's not as funny as you want me to believe this is. And Chowder kind of suffered that same issue as well, but they're good shows. Justice League Unlimited, it was a really good show with a lot of action. I feel like you didn't get a really like lots of plot. I did like the Manhunter saga. The Manhunter saga was really good, but other than that, I didn't really like much of it. Then you have Craig of the Creek. I already went through that earlier. It's Kids Next Door. That's what it is. If you really want to watch a New Kids Next Door, that's what you gotta watch. It's K&D with better plot, with a better plot, but worse characters. Well, overall, like they have good characters in that show, but overall, their characters. Then you have We Bare Bears. That's another one of those shut your brain off and watch it. Like, and the bears are so funny. Like they really are, and the stuff that they get into. Like they'll bother everyone in town, and like so many people in that city hate them until the movie. Like the movie ending was, I thought it was decent, but I thought it was weird how like all the bears are just living with people now. But they do go on some good adventures. Like I know there was one where they had like a burrito stand, and nobody would buy their burritos, so they started selling it to animals. And like you're not supposed to feed the animals, or like a bunch will show up, and then like they kind of got like raided by animals. But it was such a good episode. I also like Chloe's character, her and Tabes. Those were good characters too. Now we got Johnny Bravo, man. And this is who didn't like Johnny Bravo. The show was How Do I Get a Girl Today? That was the show. And I'm gonna move on to the Thundercats. Now this was the action kind of Thundercats, not like the cartoonish Thundercats. I never saw that, so that's not on here. It was a really good show. Lots of action. I hate that they didn't end it, but I thought the action was really good. It was in my opinion one of the better versions of Thundercat. Well, better modern versions of Thundercat. Then you got Dexter's Lab. You got the Boy Genius right here. Him against Mandark was always good. His sister Dee Dee. It was a good show. I feel like there was stuff missing from it. Like it could have been a whole lot better. And now we got on C tier. I'll try to go a lot faster with C tier. We got Code Lyoko, a show that I genuinely have to ask people if they remember it, because I feel like when I talk about it, no one else ever remembers it. So it's like I literally gotta ask that question. Then you got Mau Mau. I never finished Mau Mau. I watched half of it, but it was decent. But I couldn't really get into it. And you had Totally Spies. I feel like that one's actually worse on a rewatch. I feel like if you go back to watch Totally Spies now, a lot of it just felt kind of empty. Like it was like don't get me wrong, I like their butler. I can't even think of his name. Was it Jeremy? No, Jeremy was a Code Lyoko guy. What was the butler from Totally Spies? I can't even remember his name. And it's crazy because I literally rewatched season 1 like a month ago, and his name is like drawing blanks on me. But it's a good show, but I feel like if you actually go back and watch it, a lot of their adventures just seem kind of like, oh, this was pointless, or just, I feel like it's kind of overrated in a way. Because I feel like going into this show, I feel like it'd be more B tier, but I think I gotta sit on C tier. Then you got Teen Titans Go, another one that I think is overhated. I think it's average. Like they'll tell some jokes there that's funny. They'll have episodes that are good, and some episodes that are just like it felt pointless. But it's not as bad. It gets way more hate. Like if you just look at it online, you'd think it's like an F tier. It's like, nah, it just gets too much hate. Like you're expecting it to be the original Teen Titans, but that's not what this is. And you just kind of have to accept that. And then you got Apple and Onion. I feel like they had a decent dynamic. It was good, but I feel like it could have been a lot better. Yeah, Lego Ninjago. I love the reveal that not the Green Ninja, Cade was the youngest one. What was it called? The young kid turned out to be the Green Ninja, and I did like that. But a lot of it, I feel like, especially in the early seasons, I didn't really like the animation as much. Like, I mean, you gotta do Lego right, and I feel like in the earlier seasons they didn't do the Lego look as good as I wanted it to. But apparently it's still going on, which is crazy because I stopped watching it a long time ago. So who knows? Maybe it'll rose up on this. Then you have GarageBand. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a good thing to just again shut off your brain on. But I literally only remember one joke from the show. It was like when the dude asked them, were they playing in a garage? No, when they were playing in a shed. And he was like, oh no, this is a garage. And that was literally the only thing I remember. And I know eventually, crap, what is her name? I can't even think of the redhead girl's name from it. Let me look this up, cause I know they kind of liked each other. Gosh, Lainey, yes, okay. Lainey and Corey liked each other, and I know they kind of showed more that they were like becoming a couple, but it was a decent show. You got Camp Laszlo. This show made me want to go to camp. It really did. And the big reveal at the end was the Scoutmaster the whole time was actually like an imposter.
That's the bad moose who locked me in the closet all summer and stole my job as Scoutmaster. He fooled all of you. He's an imposter, a fake, and worse, he is no Scoutmaster of Camp Kidney!
And the real Scoutmaster was just, get what happened to him, but the one that they had was an imposter and he got arrested. I just thought that was weird because it didn't make any sense. Like, I felt like there were no clues leading up that he was an imposter. Because I would have liked, unless someone knows clues, like, let me know. But I feel like there were no clues. It was just kind of, oh yeah, Scoutmaster, he's an imposter. And that was the big reveal. But otherwise, it was a decent show. We got Johnny Test now. I think the best. A lot of the fart jokes I just didn't like. I know some people really like Johnny Test, but I feel like a lot of it was just stupid fart jokes. Like, I love the song. Like, when the song played, I would literally stay on the song. But there were so many episodes of this show that I didn't like. Like, I think it's one of those shows where it had some good episodes, but people ignore the really bad ones. People really do. And then you got Pokemon. I gave it a C tier because I swear it's too much of it, man. I feel like early Pokemon, some of it was like good, but it's too monotonous. Like, so many episodes feel the same. It felt like I literally just watched this, but you just gave me a new Pokemon on it. Or you gave him something else to catch, and I couldn't do it. And then you got Hero 108. I think that's popular with a lot of people. I think a lot of people actually like that. I wasn't really too big on it. Like, I didn't really like the animation and the plot line. I never really got into it. So Hero 108, I watched most of it, but I didn't watch it to completion because it was just like I couldn't do it. Then you got D tier. You got Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Force. I thought it was the worst version of Ben 10, so I'm glad that they kind of stopped doing that. And then you got Bakugan Battle Brawlers. It was a good show from the beginning, but I think after they beat Masquerade at the end, well, after they revealed that the quiet girl Alice was Masquerade, and then they beat Masquerade and kind of freed her, I feel like that should have been where it ended. They messed up continuing it after that, and then it kind of went downhill. Then you got the baby Looney Tunes again. That's the worst Looney Tunes. I'm not going to get into that. What's new, Scooby-Doo? Worst Scooby-Doo. This was an unpopular one. High Puff Umi Yumi. A lot of people like that. I wasn't too much into it. I felt like it was like bad anime. It was like a bad anime translated to a cartoon. So that's going to be an unpopular one, but I didn't like it. Crypto the Super Dog. I felt like the plot was kind of stupid. Like, it's Superman's dog. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. You had Mad TV. Some of the episodes were funny. Some of the episodes, I feel like you just sitting there just looking at it. It was just like, all right, you're trying way too hard to be funny. The Spy vs. Spy was all right. Some of the jokes hit, but it was bad Robot Chicken. Mad was bad Robot Chicken. All right, you have Static Shock. That's going to be another unpopular one. I was never really into it. Never liked Static Shock. Saw a lot of episodes of it, but never liked it. Or Uncle Grandpa. That was a fever dream. I saw maybe like 5 episodes of Uncle Grandpa and was just like, no, I'm not going to do this. It reminded me of that show, Secret Fort Mount Awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I think it was by the same people who animated it. But it was like a worse, well, maybe not a worse, but it was just like Secret Fort Mount Awesome. And I hate that too. Alright, then you have the Garfield Show. It was pretty much just a cat doing everything for lasagna. I didn't really like the episodes. Cartoon Network showed it a lot too, and I couldn't get into it. I always had to turn it to like Nick when that was on. The Secret Saturdays. I didn't really like the Secret Saturdays. I didn't actually like any of the characters, and the people that they were fighting just kind of, it never really appealed to me. You got two stupid dogs. Wasn't into it. Saw a couple episodes and tossed it. The Green Lantern show, same thing. A few episodes, tossed it. My gym partner's a monkey. Seen all of it, and it's bad. I think if you rewatch it as an adult, you'll realize how bad it was. Like, a lot of people, they will talk about that show and they'll have really good, like, a look on it. But, and I did as a kid too. Like, I went in on the rewatch thinking, oh, I'm gonna love this show. It's terrible. Like, the jokes are so I don't think I laughed until like episode 9. And it wasn't even like a laugh. It was more like, oh, I'm still here. I'm still actually watching this kind of laugh. Gotta leave that there. Classic 3000, I did not like the Classic 3000. And I like Andre 3000. This show wasn't good. Total Drama Packatu Island. I felt like they went away from their roots on that show. I felt like Total Drama, it was always over the top, but it was somewhat grounded in reality. Packatu Island took that over the topness from the End of World tour and stepped it to another level, and I couldn't get with it. It just felt too stupid. Because there's a certain level of stupid you can go to. It ran over. You have a world tour. Again, it was that level of stupid. It was that after action, they didn't keep it grounded. They just kind of kept going. Like Ezekiel being like the dude from Lord of the Rings. Like, no. It was stupid. Robotomy. Maybe saw like 5 or 6 episodes. It was not good. I'm pretty sure, I don't even think they finished the first season before it got canceled. But it should have. The show wasn't good. Alright, then we got we have Almost Naked Animals. Must I continue? Do I need to continue? Like, I heard the theme song for the show, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'll give it a try. And then I was right. Everything that I thought about that show, I was right. The voices annoying, the plots annoying, and the characters look terrible. It shouldn't have been allowed on TV. And next we have The Annoying Orange. I didn't even like the YouTube version of it. So when I was like, hold up, they're getting a 15-minute episode. I didn't like this thing in 5 minutes. You're going to give him 15 minutes? How is that going to work? And it didn't. Then you have The Problem Solvers. Again, that's unintentional nightmare fuel. I don't even know how that got on TV, and whoever let it on should be arrested. Seriously, just arrested. Then you have Squirrel Boy. I don't know, I just hate it. It's kind of hard to describe my hate for Squirrel Boy. It just felt so, it didn't have anything to it. And a lot of shows don't, but it just felt so empty. But that is the tier list and a quick explanation. If you have anything to let me know in the comments, again, especially about that Camp Laszlo thing. If you know any clues that led up to him being an imposter the whole time, please let me know. Because I had no idea he was an imposter, and I swear there were no hints. But I'm gonna end it right there, and yeah.